and I found myself hating it absolutely. And I was like, I don't ever want to do something for money anymore. I don't want to go into businesses just because of money.
Welcome to the CEO DNA podcast. Here it's all about founders, entrepreneurs, and of course CEOs and managers, because we know businesses in this life can really make an important change. And one important aspect of that is, of course, the founders, managers, and also CEOs. And for them, it's this podcast. And whether you are now an intrapreneur, that you work for another company, and within this company you try to be also an entrepreneur, or that you are having your own company, we really want to give you some more insights and some more knowledge to build sustainable and meaningful businesses. And today I have somebody here I'm super happy to talk to, because he's a true serial entrepreneur. He actually has been a professional soccer player, played also on national teams in 4 different countries. He then actually dropped out of university and stopped also his soccer career and started the businesses. Between that, he lived as a digital nomad. Now he generated over 120 million US dollars for different companies. So welcome, Marko Kažić.
Thank you very much. Thanks for a nice introduction. It's nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again. And the first question would be, what is a good CEO for you? Because you CEO, you founder, you 100% shareholder of your agency. What is a good CEO?
I think a good CEO is someone who is, first of all, a good leader, right? Someone who is definitely, in my opinion, driven by empathy, because we know there is 2 types of CEOs. Yes. Either it's empathy, either fear, right?
True.
So I like to be driven by empathy and taking care of the people, because only in that way you can have a great company culture, which leads to, scaling it, which leads to, generating money, right?
I like that. So that's very good. So you empower and motivate your team. Your core team is around 20 full-time people.
Correct.
And of course, you have so many others. You also scale very big brands. I'm not sure, are you allowed to name drop some?
Yeah, absolutely. So with some of them, we work directly when they were already scaled, they were already big. So we have like 2 types of collaborations. Either it's personal brands who are in edtech space, meaning selling some digital products, courses, programs, right? Or on the other hand, we have companies that we try to help that are smaller, and then we help them scale. So some of them are, for example, what's actually funny, I'm sure you know some of the names, because initially when we just started, we were helping actually Gary Vee with his international strategy. Nice. But that was extremely small project. Yes. But it was good to know, gave us confidence for the rest. Course. And now we came to, for example, we work with Soma Breath. That's the biggest breathing company in the world. I'm sure you're familiar of Wim Hof.
Of course, yes.
Right? Yeah, so Soma Breath, in my opinion.
Greetings to Wims,
is even,
love it.
Love it. But Soma, in my opinion, is even bigger. Then Marissa Peer, who is the most famous psychotherapist in the world, etc. So many of them, yeah.
Wow, so interesting. Yeah. Especially like, okay, now you have this big empire, and you also told me you also started now to invest actually in some companies, and it's quite interesting. But your journey started a long time back and more in a sport, because you have been a professional football player.
Exactly. I like to say I was a professional football player in my previous life, right?
Okay.
And then this is now something completely new. But I think you will agree, it's super similar, right? Like when you think about it, sports and business, you need to be a leader, you need to be disciplined, you need to show up, right? There is so many cold showers, right? Etc. So it's very similar, it's very competitive. So I think that's why I probably got hooked to the business and entrepreneurship in general.
So how long did you're from Serbia originally? Correct. And you played in soccer in Serbia. How long, what age around?
I played until I was 21, and I stopped very early due to some more personal issues. Whenever I don't have time to really explain, I always just say, "Oh, I just got injured," but that's actually not true.
I love to talk about personal issues.
Yeah, sure.
So body, mind, or what?
It was a big shock for the family. My parents got divorced. It affected me a lot. Yeah. Then mom got sick, got cancer, etc. So I was not there mentally, right? And it affected my career. Even though I was I don't want to say I was I went into a professional. I would say I stayed at the stage of great talent in the sport. But I played in 4 different countries, from Iceland to Qatar, played for national team under 19. So I did pretty cool stuff, yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because when we did the research on you, it was quite interesting to see also your potential you already had as a young human being, as a young man, to play on this league. Yeah. But then it's also so interesting that you now openly say, look, it was really a tough time for me during that time, and your body was maybe there, but in this case maybe not your mind to give what it needs to do that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I agree.
So then after some time you recovered from this really tough time. And how did you get then into the marketing? And I don't want to say marketing, but more agency business.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So I would say I had some successes in Dubai even before the marketing agency.
Yeah.
So I had my companies. For example, I was one of the first people who had a fitness company here. So I was super early in it, 2014.
2014,
yeah.
Okay.
And I owned 33% of that company, and we generated a pretty good amount in the first year, and I exited that. I want to say I entered and exited in the right time. So that gave me, some cash to kind of go into another round of doing the business. Then we went into a meal prep, and then I went into that super early as well. And you will find one thing about me is I think I have definitely one talent in business. That's to identify something really early. Like, I think timing is so important. Right. So I went into that. That was really good until one point where I decided in the meal prep space to go alone without my partners. They were okay with that. And I was just so confident because I never had a failure in business before. And that was just like a big slap, in my face. I lost like almost all the money because of this heavy investment. We had customers, but we didn't have good profits, right? Mm-hmm. So revenue was there, but not the profits. And I found myself hating it, absolutely. And I was like, I don't ever want to do something for money anymore. I don't want to go into businesses just because of money. And then, I went to Portugal, Montenegro, Seychelles, just thinking about what I want to do. And I was like, wow, this is so nice to have this geographical freedom. And then I just analyzed and reflect on myself, and I realized, okay, cool. Like, I was always good in marketing. Like, I definitely helped and scaled these companies, right, from ground zero. And that's how the idea for an agency came. Yeah.
Wow, because I mean, you have a true track record of being a serial entrepreneur. Right. And I think during this time off, you also were a bit like a digital nomad in China. Was it right? Or Asia somehow?
No, it was always here.
It was always here. In the region,
I was
or
going
also
around.
Europe? Yeah.
You're right. I did go to China, but that's just I was visiting my dad. My dad is actually a football coach. And he was for 4 years in China, so we went to see him. Okay. But that was the part where I was just traveling left and right and trying to figure out what's the next move.
Yeah, how was it for your dad to say, okay, my son will not be a soccer player. He has a potential. We scaled him now on doing this this big career in soccer, and then you said, no, Dad, I just start businesses.
Yeah, that was honestly, that was crazy. No one believed in me. Like, my family didn't support me, but not because they didn't want to support. It was out of the fear, right? When I told my mom, like, she doesn't get it, right? Like, what's entrepreneurship? What is at that time digital marketing? You didn't have even these, let's say, online gurus, right, and experts on YouTube. Nothing was there when I started this. So, definitely the support wasn't there. That's why entrepreneurship is so lonely when you find that out. But this is where you get to know yourself as well, right? I saw, oh wow, I'm actually pretty thick-skinned, pretty actually tough guy. Yeah.
Yeah. I just can underline it so much that I think entrepreneurship is actually also a very lonely journey. And that's why I'm so thankful to meet people, founders, CEOs like you on this podcast. And that's also why I started it, because I think, it's a lonely ride. So you have to be sometimes, when maybe even your closest people around in your circle say, maybe that's not the right way for you, you still need to deep inside feel and go through this and say that's the case. But I think sport really helps also to put the right mindset in place. Could you agree with that? Because I think it's so essential, and I see so many successful businesses where the people before had a quite good career in sport.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just very simple, right? You need to be consistent and you need to show up every day.
Yes, discipline.
And you can't be part of the sport, right? At any level, even as an amateur, you cannot be part of it if you don't have these traits.
Right.
So that's why I think it's so, it's so connected. I truly believe in that.
Yeah, no, I think it's very interesting. Okay, so that's now a little bit about, let's say, your past. So again, quite interesting, a quite big career in soccer. Then a personal situation where you said, okay, I need to do something else. Maybe also I need to do my own way. I think when you have something like that, I personally had something as well in my family at one point, and I just said, okay, now it's really time to more go your own way, you know. And I think I wish that for so many listeners out there as well, to say at one point, hey, money will come, you know. And I think it's not only about security, it's also, I think, looking back at your life at one point and knowing you having done the right path for yourself, not for anyone, not even for your parents, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's a huge shock, right? Imagine for a family when you drop out from something that you did all your life, that was sport. Then number two, I was studying physical education at the time as well. And I was like, okay, I can go the route of my parents, you know, have a degree, right? For sure, I'm going to find a decent job and stuff like that. Then I dropped out from the college as well. So they were super scared what's going to happen with me. But there is something crazy, and I'm a big believer. So I just had to follow that inner feeling.
I like that. Yeah. I think belief is also something very essential in such situations, for sure. For me, it was a bit, of course, I want to motivate everyone also to still have a degree and continue. I told you earlier, I myself had been a professor for entrepreneurship here in Dubai for 6 years. And so I also saw some good entrepreneurs coming with, having also the kind of the academic knowledge, but of course combine it a lot with practical. And that's where you also shine. You kind of get the knowledge, what's working at the moment. You look at all the different solutions. So what are you doing today at your agency?
Amazing. That's actually really good, because you need to surround yourself with just absolutely top-notch entrepreneurs, I would say beasts in the space, right? So you have to gather that practical knowledge. That's very important keyword, practical knowledge, in order to invest. And I'm going to tell you more about that. But okay, let's start with this. So when it comes to an agency, I was joking with you before, right? I said I feel offended when we say just a marketing agency. Yeah, that is our core. But also in-house, we have a sales team, etc. So I would like to label us as a scaling agency, truly. And we have some patterns. So I would like to say we also don't like working just with anyone. We have like 3 core things that are important. Number one would be, is the vibe good? We really want to work with people who have a smile on their face, right?
Right.
You and me, we saw each other in the hall. It was just a smile.
True,
that was it, right? We both have whoops. So I was like, okay, cool. Similarities, right?
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two is, do we believe in a product or a service that we are promoting? Absolutely very important for me. There is so many niches that I got offered to and I'm referred to, but I just don't work with them because I truly don't believe in that.
Yeah.
And I think they're not good for humanity in general, right? I don't know. Is it gambling? Is it promoting alcohol? Whatever. I just don't want that. And then number 3 is, are we going to agree on the finances? And this is where the interesting part comes in. Yes, we do have a traditional model of, hey, you pay us a retainer. Yeah. But number 2, if we really see someone is really interesting, we do invest in them. So so we actively invest. So when I say actively, so we are involved. It's sweat equity, right? So it's our guys who are working on it and managing marketing and sales for that specific company. But also if we need to put some money into like a marketing budget, we do that as well. And then number 3 is completely passive investments into startups, specifically in edtech space. So this is what we do. So we try to have everything under one umbrella.
Wow, interesting mix for sure. I just can underline also what you said, to pick what you want to do and especially what you not want to do. When I was young, I'm still young, hopefully. I had a small marketing agency in Germany. It was the internet boom, and so we reserved some domain names. And then also actually an alcoholic beverage company came to me and said, hey, you want to do the marketing for us? And everybody thought, boy, that's the biggest game winner at all. And I said, no, at this point, first of all, I didn't like to help people to drink because I saw also in some of the environments that people drink too much and it was not good. And the second thing, I also thought I don't understand the target customer so much because I don't like beer so much, but not at all actually. So long story short, I think for everyone listening, it's so important to sometimes pick what you want to do and what you not want to do. Because when I said I don't want to do it, and so many people said, Michael, you lose so much money on not doing this, we actually gain new customers who said, boy, we like what you're doing, and especially the portfolio you're having. And I think that sometimes actually win. And I had the same situation again when I worked for a big German company called Siemens. It was the same situation where at one point we said what we want to do and what we especially not want to do, that we get more deals because of, you give a clear path of who you are.
I think in the beginning it feels weird to say those no's, but then you get used to it. Now we are at the stage, we are giving few no's each day.
Wow.
Yeah. 100%, yeah.
And I mean, if you go to the club here in Dubai, wherever, in Dubai not so much, but especially in Europe, you have this, this red carpet, and so many people are standing there, and they sometimes say no. And also this works, I think, from a marketing perspective.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think, of course, you should not do this. I don't know. You should have some values in it. Why you say no? So maybe the club example is not perfect.
Yeah, but okay, it makes sense, the concept, right?
Yeah. So I think on the one hand it makes sense from the concept, and secondly I think it's very important to have a clear direction. Another important thing is I think how you get the knowledge. So I just want to deep dive in that again. So you have now all this, and it's of course your personal knowledge over the time by scaling companies, but in total, I mean, you help now scaling revenues over $120 million US. So how do you get that knowledge? Yes, surround yourself with good people. I take this, but how else can you see? Because sometimes you need to be also pioneer on certain things, right?
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes it's just a lot of testing and risking, right? You just need to test and risk, and you gain the knowledge, this practical knowledge, right, through trying. So what I really think is very important to mention, I actually mention this a lot. I always say, maybe I'm sitting here and someone is sitting on the other side as a marketeer. Right. You know why? Just because I failed more, right? I have the most failed campaigns actually, right? Than someone else, just because I tried more. So I truly think it's from that. When you're a pioneer, when you're going into unknown, what else is there? You just have to kind of jump. So I'm not scared to invest daily basis. I would rather spend money than not know. So I would rather get that no and then move on, right? I truly believe in that. That's the direction.
That's so powerful. You know, I think that's wow. So you rather would like to lose money instead of not having the knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. Because now we can afford that.
Yes.
Previously we couldn't, but now when we are at this stage, yes, absolutely. But if you think about it, this is also a tactic of Amazon. Yes. They speak about it a lot, especially in AI space. Mm-hmm. They invest the most and they failed massively. It's crazy. And I spoke with some guys who were in Dubai, who actually work there. In Amazon, and then I heard it firsthand. I was like, wow, this is so logical. Obviously, when you do have the money, when it's possible to do that. But also surrounding yourself with other entrepreneurs. I want to mention one person actually here that we supposed to meet together at your event for the Coop cart, but unfortunately we didn't, is John Davey. He is the chairman of the Marissa Peer company. He is actually her husband. For example, through just working with them, it's just insane. You just pick up the mindset. He has instant answers, right, etc. He scaled several companies, sold dozens of them. Yeah. So being surrounded with those kind of people is just super, extremely precious, right? And especially developing a relationship with them. So you just get answers on the spot. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I can underline this so much. And so I was at one point so lonely as an entrepreneur that I built myself a society, I called it, like a group around me of entrepreneurs, hand selected who I believe can give a good value add. Called the Unicorn Society, creating. So we meet then regularly. I think it's so important, and also to see who do you again want to have in your inner circle and who not, and who can you learn from. But I think that's at the end of the day, we can learn from each other so much, because I think entrepreneurship is also not only about revenue and building great profits. It's also, I think, more also about growing as a person, if I make sense, so also developing yourself in relationships with friends, with maybe your partner, with body and mind. So I think it's, and with investments, of course, because I met in entrepreneurs who were really wealthy, but health-wise they kind of lost it almost. So they were not healthy at all doing the lifestyle, or they were 5-time married, or they actually had a big company but no investments, and they risk it at the end all. So I think it's just important to understand that I think entrepreneurship, CEOs, founders, is really not only the profit game, it's really to grow as a person as well.
Absolutely, I agree with that. Actually, you nailed it, and you just reminded me that also something that I kind of mentioned also between the team a lot is, and our clients, especially the smaller clients, etc. You need to understand that success and personal development are directly connected, right? The better you are in your skills, in any kind of skills, not just business skills, right? In also outside of your work, right? Providing that service or connecting with people, that will just bring you up 100%. It's going to speed up your process. So I truly believe in that. Also, I wanted to mention one more thing that for us is shown as very effective, and it's similar to your community several times a year in our offices. But we do this more in Belgrade, in Serbia, than in Dubai. But we are starting in Dubai from now 2025, is to organize and host events completely on our expense, right? And we want to gather, cherry pick these entrepreneurs or great potential talents in the room and just discuss, right? And networking, just give them value. I think a lot of knowledge can be taken from there, right? Because you can hear the best practices, you can get some ideas, and the higher you are in the business, the less you need. Even when you go to some conference, the 90% of the things you're not really maybe even interested in, but you go for that 2%, that one information can be a game changer for you.
So true. And it really can be, this one. We had at the Copecard Mastermind, one billionaire sitting on stage with me and doing also a talk, and then somebody from the audience asked us questions. They said, because I saw my daughter, 3-year-old, and my wife in a bag, and they were dancing also and enjoying and being part of the community. And then they ask you how I manage it. So I explained that I think it's important to grow together as a family and so on, and have certain experience together, because I believe otherwise you develop yourself and your partner maybe not. So you need to do it as a team. And then they asked a billionaire, and he directly burst out and said, I will not mention his name, and said, look, this has been the biggest failure of my entire life, and I wish so much I would have done it differently. So I just mentioned it here to give the advice. I think it's very essential to grow as a person, and also as a team if you have a partner here. So education, we talked about it so much, and education is also very close to your heart, because you also have also or founded also kind of an education platform. Can I say that?
Yeah, exactly. So our desire always was to help the ones who cannot afford us.
Yes.
Right? So you cannot afford our agency service. Okay, maybe you're not attractive enough for us to invest, but I'm 100% convinced that the biggest majority is actually in the third box. And that was my desire for last 3 years, I would say. And everyone is angry at me because I overstretched it, but with a very good reason. Now we have the resources, we have the team, we have an exceptional knowledge in order to scale that company and really truly help small entrepreneurs. So we actually launched a company called Edumena. We were also endorsed by the Dubai government. We visited the Minister of AI. He loved the idea, etc. So these were all very good, pinpoints for me that I'm on a kind of a right path.
Was a good sign to also say you should do this.
Yeah, exactly. Excellent sign. And then here it just felt good, but it didn't feel good 3 years back to kind of launch it. I was like, we're still not there. this would be more of a hassle than a business and enjoyment. And from my previous experiences where I failed and made mistakes, I was like, I'm just gonna wait more. And I'm proud to say that now we are live. Also, our first batch of entrepreneurs is filled up immediately just after one webinar, because so many people were waiting for that. And like our offer is pretty cool, because if you don't scale your company in 1 year and you gain 30% more profit, we give you the money back.
Mm-hmm. Wow,
so that's how confident we are in that. So now we are just looking forward to hopefully onboard so many companies and just work closely with them on a weekly basis.
Nice. But the mission behind this, of course, at the end of the day, business is also about making profits. But I think your mission behind it is really that it's close to your heart, as I understood it. You showed it also and said, look, I think it's really something I want to help to have other entrepreneurs not maybe have so much hassle you had yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So truly the mission behind that and the idea, how it came to life, came from this. I asked myself, what little Marko wanted 10 years back, right? How could I speed up my process, my, let's call it success, even though I don't find myself successful. I think I can do so much more. But I was like, how can I do it? And I was just writing down, okay, I needed better context. I needed more knowledge. I needed the network, etc. And I was like, wow, I wish I come to one point where I can provide this for others. So I did the suffering and they don't have to. Mm-hmm. This is truly Edumena.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. When I was a professor, I started an entrepreneurship institute. So, cool. And I remembered the dean, that's like the CEO of a university. He said, okay, when we offered it to our students and they can pay for it or something, I said, no, first of all, I want to do it free. Because I did it kind of also in my free time, at least at the beginning. And then I said, I want to have it open for all students, whoever wants to come by, to pitch an idea or to join certain courses. And I think that's such an important step to help entrepreneurs. I believe they will still suffer or they will have still challenges, because this is what also makes business interesting. However, you can have a head start by having some context and just sometimes also having the confidence, because we know also as entrepreneurs today, I think not all answers for sure, right? But we just have this feeling inside that we have the knowledge or we find the knowledge. And I think that's very essential to understand as a younger entrepreneur, also as an entrepreneur who just starts, right? Yeah. I think that's interesting that you now go this path of education, and also that you had the chance to meet the Minister of AI in Dubai. And I think that also, as I know, gave you a very special spark, or it gives you a bit of almost a sign. Tell us about it, please.
Actually, there is a very cool story behind it. And first time I said it was at one of the biggest stages in Europe at one conference. So I'm really happy to repeat it. I'm not sure, was it recorded? Can someone find it on YouTube or no? But definitely now, this is a good time to do it. So we were speaking about education, AI, etc., which is his space, right? And it's very important to mention, and you know this probably really well, you have US, China, and then the third country is actually UAE, even though it cannot be compared by the size of the country. But they are the number 3 when it comes to AI.
It's so interesting. Yeah, I so much agree. I think Silicon Valley, I especially spent last year summer there because I wanted to know, and I told you we had 3 of the top AI I think researchers also at our COPE mastermind. I think that's so wonderful. And then actually China and then UAE is so strong. Yes,
correct. And so obviously we were speaking about it. I was telling him about Edumena, etc. And he told me this great story. And he said, you have to understand what's going on in the world. We actually have a huge imbalance, right? And what he meant by that, if you remember, in elementary school, we were learning about Gutenberg, right? Who invented the printing machine, and they saw it as an amazing invention. Okay, cool, because people can now print books, right, etc., and people can get educated. But there was a huge issue. So there was this piece of technology that could scale this on this side, but education of people was down. They didn't know how to read. So we have the same thing right now. So the tech part is so much up. For you and me, maybe we don't realize because we are into the space. We understand what's going on. Not even with AI, but also with digital marketing and other stuff.
Right.
But so many people are kind of left behind. So whenever you have this huge back, as human species, we cannot progress. It has to be always equal, right? The technology and education. So he told me whenever there is this huge gap, it's also a massive opportunity in the ed tech space, in education space. And I was like, wow, this means the timing is right for something like this next 10 years or whatever, right? So that felt really good to hear, because that means you're actually genuinely helping people navigate in this world also, but it's also a good business model, right? So after that meeting, for me, it was absolutely a no-brainer to go into this, and I made a massive decision to just niche down as an agency and just do edtech products, any kind of digital products, right? Just help everyone in education space. Doesn't matter if it's a platform, personal brand, whatever it is. And we made this very, very bold decision. I have to admit, even the team was scared, but I was also very proud because my number one person, his name is Matea, and he said, man, I always trusted you. I was always loyal to you. So just go ahead. I'm going to follow, and the team will follow. Yeah. That was crucial. And I remember clearly the moment. It was in Burj Khalifa, in Armani Hotel. We were just chilling there, having dinner. And I told him this, and he was like, it sounds scary, but let's do it. And it was probably the best decision we made in our business.
So interesting. Yeah. Sometimes the boldest moves are making the most impact as well. On the one hand, I think for the future, on the other hand, also from the education field, as we talked about, because I think it's so essential that we as entrepreneurs, CEOs, and so on, implement now the new technology. Especially, I think, when you see that you cannot hold it back, because we have so many people. As in Germany, I still have a neighbor who doesn't have a mobile phone or smartphone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he says, no, I don't need it. It's really not needed. And I don't want to have internet. Sometimes I come by and show him, because he likes cars. And so I can show him sometimes, look, here's my iPad. Yeah, you can have it. It has a SIM card inside. No. But then I said, nothing can go wrong. But I think it's just from now one extreme to the other extreme, us using everything technology and being like the pioneer of using new chat GDPs and new learning models and so on. I think it's just essential that as an entrepreneur, you need to understand, you need to join the wave, right? Like when you go surfing, I explained it also at the university. I think it's so important to, be like, don't fight the wave, basically.
Nothing to add. Actually, I have to say that you're such a great communicator. You're like so spot on. I don't even have nothing to add. I fully agree with that statement. Absolutely.
Yeah. So another interesting part from you as a serial entrepreneur is I realize you are making big, bold promises. So you said, okay, you come to my agencies, we scale it to 6 or 7 digit. That's it. Now again, with the education business, you said, okay, if not 1 year, we give you the money back. I mean, you will also have costs to invest and so on. How do you, how are you feeling when you give those promises? And does it not make you scared? And also now for the people listening, how bold should they be, in their...
Yeah.
Because sometimes, of course, you can maybe give a good service, to be fair, but sometimes also the other part also need to do his or her part, right? To make things work at the end of the day.
I would say there is
two parts.
Yeah, that's a great question. There is two important things. First one is in recruiting that client partner, right? So you need to be 100% sure. So we analyze that deeply before we say yes. I think that's crucial part, number one.
So is it a good fit or not, basically? Yeah.
Yes, but I also want to mention one thing, if you don't mind, if I will deep dive that. What we see is entrepreneurs in edtech space, when they're selling the digital products, they always have 3 issues that are so repetitive. So our job became a little bit kind of boring as well, because we are always solving the same problems. Even without, we can show up on a call even without being prepared, really. With one sentence, we can grow someone's revenue. For example, I said there is 3. Number 1 is the offer. Whenever you see someone doesn't have a downsell and an upsell and they just have this main product, no brainer. You will make 10 to 12% more revenue, 100%, right? Especially if you're a few years in the market and your product is good. That's non-negotiable. Your product has to be good, right? Number two is actually marketing. And when I say marketing, I mean funnels. When we see they don't have paid or organic funnels in place, they just do it ad hoc, no brainer, you will help them. For sure, because these customers are there. Maybe you just didn't do a simple follow-up, maybe, and you will be shocked. So many, even big companies, they don't have these things in place properly, right? They don't take care of their data properly, they're not using it properly, etc. And number three is sales. Number three is truly sales. You need to have a great sales team behind it, right? Or you have to be a better salesperson in front. And this is very connected to, again, some beliefs, personal development, because people are just scared to do it, right? But actually what we live every day is sales, right? So that's essentially kind of what we try to fix for them. And that's why we are so sure that we can help them. So that would be I think that is a number one. And number two, I will admit, I'm absolutely scared. Yeah, 100%. I'm scared, right? When I do have to accept someone, I do also play that risk management smartly. We have money on a side for stuff like that, absolutely. And we take care of our finances very, very, very deeply, and we are very protective of it. But yeah, there is that element of fear, but then that element of confidence always goes beyond that, and that's why we go into it, right? Yeah. And now, to be honest, the tempo is so crazy right now that you even don't have time to think. You just go into things, right?
Yeah.
Because again, I would rather not succeed than not try.
Yeah, I like that. And also, I think in business, you have certain periods where you have something, I call it a thinking time, and sometimes when you have a maker time, when you do things, right? I had, after our Cope Mastermind, I went with my business partner to the desert. It was 20 kilometers from Saudi Arabia. You could hear nothing. You could see, we slept over there, of course, and you only could see the stars. And we were just like, had some thinking time. I think it's very important to take yourself out sometimes as an entrepreneur and not being only in this rat race or in this, a hamster race to really sometimes also zoom out. Because too often we are working in the business and not on the business. And sometimes on the business can be the 20% that make 80% of the difference, I believe. Yeah.
You're right, and I have to admit that I was making for a long time that mistake.
Yes,
I didn't give enough attention to that reflection. Now every Sunday, second part of the day is for that.
Wow.
And at least 2 to 3 times a year, especially when I'm traveling somewhere. For example, now for New Year's, my mom came to Dubai and we traveled to Singapore. Obviously, the whole company was off, right, for a few days. The best ideas came there. It's just that click, but just walking in the park, just some things just get together, right? Like just dominoes, and it makes sense, right? And you just go and do it. So I agree. Definitely down the line, one of the goals for 2025, I know it sounds silly, but is actually to have a little bit more downtime to reflect, because then you will make better decisions.
I have the same on my list for
Really?
25.
Yeah.
That's why I also started after our big event to say, look, let's go to the desert, like where we don't even have mobile reception, and let's go crazy to just come down and think about it. I think it's so essential. I also had to learn that, and I wish this for everyone listening, because I really believe that this can make sometimes the biggest impact. I think, when I have lots of entrepreneurs who are a bit more senior to me, but we talk about 65, 70 years old. One good friend, Jochen Schweizer, greetings. He's in the German Shark Tank Virgin Höhle des Löwens. And so sometimes he says, like, slow down. You get the business anyhow, like, just position yourself correctly, and then things will be okay. I think that's an important thing to remember sometimes when you're running in your daily. Yeah,
truly, I agree.
No, very interesting. I think, especially to talk to somebody like you with having also this quite diverse business experience, right? And building also businesses, because I really believe that businesses can change and help the biggest challenges in this world. You know, when it comes to healthcare, I think we look back so often businesses helped, or only businesses actually helped to solve the biggest issues in healthcare or in energy, or just by creating jobs, or by just helping us and our families. So saying a business can really change the biggest challenges. And you did it quite often. What has been your superpower when you look back?
Wow, that's a great question. Honestly, because again, I have to mention, I am a very true and deep believer, and I think the superpower comes from there, right? And then I really think God gave me one talent, and that's not to give up, and I can really like work hard. I'm really, truly a hard worker, and I had to learn how to work smart, right, on the way. But I really, and Alex Hormozi says this, right? Like, it's so simple to succeed nowadays in the business. You just have to do the stuff that others are not willing to do, right? And I think when I reflect back in the past 10 years, I always did that. Well, I went a step ahead, a mile ahead. I did that task. Maybe I've even cut down sleep, which is absolutely not good. Now I prioritize that, etc. But it's just that hard work and not giving up. I truly think it's just that, in my case.
So you work 7 days a week?
No, not anymore.
As a believer, on Sunday, you probably
let's say I work 5.5. So Saturdays are always off, and the second part of Sunday I work. The rest is I fully work on, which is probably 12 to 14 hour shifts. But we are in a scaling mode, so this is necessary right now, and I absolutely enjoy it. So
yeah, how do you relax? Also for I had also a couple of people now here who actually had a burnout as an CEO, as an entrepreneur, and some might listen and also said, okay, I don't know, what do you do for relaxing?
Cool. So I think prioritize sleep, absolutely. Because
so Whoop for help you, or is there also Ring version?
Yeah. For me, it's Whoop, right?
Yeah.
Prioritize sleep, because then you're fresh. Then you can even do that workout, etc. Right? You make better decisions. So many things are affected by that, right? And you're healthier at the end of the day. Sleep is extremely important. Number 2 would be on Saturdays, maybe not every Saturday, but every second Saturday, we go, and actually I'm inviting you now officially on the camera. I'm inviting you to Russian banya. Do you know this concept?
Yeah.
Right? So you go to extremely hot sauna, but really hot sauna, and then immediately go to extremely cold water, right? So it's not like a regular cold plunge. This is different, right? And there are some rituals on the way. And that's something that really, I mean, you will see how you will feel after that, but like you just feel so relaxed. All the toxins are out, and you just feel.
I can't wait to go again. Iman Ghazi took me out a couple of weeks ago here in Dubai. But
Blue Waters, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's the forest.
Yeah, and they actually hit you like so. Yes. Guys, you go on the 90 degrees. He told me, Michael, when you come, it's like one of your hardest workout you ever had. I said, man, you should work out with me. But it was really tough, because they then really hit you with this. What is it called?
So it's leaves, right? It's leaves, yeah.
And then you go from 90 degrees to like super cold, and then he puts even hot water on your head.
Exactly.
So
you
you
go
get
from
really dizzy.
80 to 90 degrees, right? Like you're at the point like, I just want to jump out from the sauna, and then you immediately go into this cold pool, which is much colder than a regular ice bath.
Yes, you're right.
2.5 degrees.
Wow.
I've checked. Like this last weekend, it was 2.5 degrees. I was like, I'm really completely insane. But yeah, it's
no, it was. I remember. I said, "Are you fine?" I said, "Bring it on." Of course. I was.
You were absolutely not, right?
But yeah, so that's what you do for relaxing.
Yeah, that's what I know. It sounds weird, but that's what I do. Oh, okay, so that would be like sleep is like relaxing and stuff. This would be recovery. I would call it more recovery.
Yes, nice.
Right, number 2, and then number 3 is just Sundays. Again, not every Sunday, which is bad. I should have a better routine, but it's just my inner peace. I go to church.
Nice.
Yeah.
A marriage church here in Dubai?
No, I actually go to Russian Orthodox Church in Sharjah. Beautiful, very big church. Yeah. So I go there.
I just want to point this out, how nice it is also here in UAE and Dubai for the people not from here. It's really an open-minded community that you can have all religions. So you can go to a temple, you can go, of course, to a mosque, and also you can go to all different kind of churches. But I think it's just beautiful to have. I go often to the St. Mary's Church here. So yeah, I think that's really wonderful. Last but not least, the question would be, of course, looking back now, right? So we know now what you do for relaxing, but you had to learn also a lot during the way. When you could give your younger Marko one hint as an entrepreneur, what would that be?
Again, great question, but and I always try not to say, the basic stuff that everyone hears, that everyone knows. But if I could go back, I mean, the only thing when I reflect, I really want to cut down the time, right? Cut down the process. So I would just like not to waste and not to lose time. And that is absolutely to be more fearful, number one, right? Be more fearful, right? So I can jump into certain things. Don't overthink it. For example, I suppose
fear less, you mean? So be willing to take
exactly,
risks.
exactly.
Like
So
that.
for example, let's say you started the podcast. How many episodes have you done?
I stopped counting 30, but so many people told me, Michael, oh, you need to do this and this. And I said, I'm just doing now 100 episodes. And then I start thinking about more about it. Yeah.
Right. So when we talk about overthinking, you see, you didn't overthink it, you did it.
True.
I have 0 episodes for my, I want to call it Edumena podcast.
Yes.
Hopefully it will be one of the guests.
I'm happy to come.
Amazing. And for example, I didn't start it. If I started when I had the idea 3 years back, I would have hundreds of episodes now. So it's that, right?
Yes.
Don't overthink it. Just kind of go into it, no matter what they say, no matter are you ready or no. So it would be definitely that. And not to miss out on some opportunities. I have to admit that and I took this from Gary Vee, I just resonate with that. I'm in the business of not regretting, right? I want to be 60, 70 and not regret certain things, right? That I did or I haven't done, right? So now I'm 32, but I already regret some things that I didn't do. There are some missed opportunities. So my message would be, don't miss those opportunities, jump on them, right? Just don't take any reason to not do them, right? That's it.
I like that.
So yeah, that would be also definitely a one thing. So risk more, be fearless, don't overthink it.
Marko, it has been an honor to talk to you.
Yeah,
thank
you
so
very much. Likewise. Thank you, man.
Cool. So that was Marko, dropped out of college, went straight to work in tech companies as a digital nomad. He was spending time also a little bit in China, where your dad is also the soccer coach for a soccer team. Marko was a professional soccer player before, playing in 4 different countries and making an appearance for the national team. And he has been involved in various startups. So he's a true serial entrepreneur. Thank you so much. Before you go, a quick note to all the entrepreneurial listeners out there. If you're looking for a reliable and efficient way to scale your online business and payments, I highly recommend checking out Copecard.com. It's designed to streamline your processes from payment processing to customer management, all in one platform. Whether you're just starting out or you're looking to scale up, Copecard provides the tools you need to succeed. Visit Copecard.com today and see how it can transform your business operations. Dive in and start optimizing your sales processes now.